Today, we are closing out October. Isn't that wild? I feel like I say this every month. It's like, oh my God, it's the end of the month. Like it surprises me that months end. But I'm so excited for tonight's call because we are going back to our roots. And for those that are newer to the team or maybe haven't been on a call in a while, yes, that's a pillow stuffed in a hole in my wall, which is supposed to muffle the children, but it's not. You guys can still hear them. Going back to our roots as a team, we started as Team Drop the Cookie. This was kind of an idea back like almost 8 years ago when I started on my fitness journey. It kind of was a double entendre, like it was drop the cookie literally because I was on this health and fitness journey and bringing along people for the ride, but also like the cookie, like what's that thing in your life holding you back from getting to where you want to go? You know, for our health and fitness, sometimes it's literally a cookie that we need to let go of so that we can transcend those temptations and those struggles to get to our next level. But back when we started Team Drop the Cookie, we were rooted very much in vision because I had no evidence that I was successful in this yet. I couldn't come to the team that had come on board, and a lot of the women on here and coaches on here who have been with me for a long time, like Colleen and Annalisa and Danielle and so many of our coaches that have been around the block for a while. They can attest to the fact that I had to speak to vision because I had nothing to show for this business yet. I couldn't show them a paycheck and say, hey, look how much money I'm making. I couldn't, share my accolades in this business because I didn't have any yet. But what I could tell them was where I was going. What I could tell them was how no matter what, no matter how hard it is, I'm going to run with them and we are going to make this thing into something that changes our lives. So today, as the Difference Maker movement, we may have changed names, but we're still rooted in that same vision of living into our potentials, tapping into a level in our lives that we have never seen. And we're using this opportunity as the vehicle to get us there. So today's call is all about vision. So if you felt stuck, if you felt like you know you're made for something more, but you don't know how to get there, if you felt like you're disappointed in where you are in your business, or maybe you like where you are in your business, but you know you want to go further, or you have big dreams, or you don't even know how to dream yet, this call is bringing us back to the roots and the core of what this team has represented since day one. Before anyone else said yes to me, day one, this team was rooted in vision. And the teams that are not rooted in vision are short-sighted and they fall off. Eventually, life catches up with them and it gets hard. And because they're only focused on each individual goal along the way, that's not enough to keep them so invested in where they're going beyond those goals. It's not enough to keep them in the game, in the arena when life gets really hard. But when you have a vision that it makes you want to cry to think about this vision. It makes you get that butterflies in your stomach when you think about what life will be like when you achieve this vision someday, no matter how hard life gets, no matter how devastating the ups and downs might be, you keep showing up because the alternative would be to turn your back on who you know you're meant to become. It would be to turn your back on the business that you know is going to be the thing that gets you to where you want to go. And that's just not an option. So if you're on this call, it's because you are ready to tap into that vision in a bigger way. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to walk you through some strategies that I've personally used. Sometimes I get away from them. And when I get away from them, that's when I struggle most. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions along the way. So if you're just hopping on, I'm going to ask you also, if you can, if it's appropriate, to turn your video on, because this is a team. This is a community. And for a long time, we've struggled to have that community come together because so many of you leaders have branched off and built your own teams, and that's wonderful. But those times each month where we are able to come together, I want to see your faces. I want to celebrate you. I want to know you. I want you to know me. I want us to recognize each other virtually so that when we get together in person, we can be a part of something bigger than just us, which is why we are the Difference Maker movement. So I recently got back from Arizona. We had our Beachbody leadership retreat. And I was asked to speak on this very topic, vision, which I thought was funny because I've struggled with it for the last few years. About 3 years ago, I would say we had achieved everything I could have ever wanted and more. And I'd gotten so focused on just the goals like superstar diamond or elite or any of those things that are accolades or milestones that I had lost sight of the bigger vision for my life, the bigger vision for this team. And I had forgotten at the core who we are. I'd forgotten what we started with, who we started as, this team drop the cookie, what that represented. So I came back to an exercise that I created a long time ago to help me reconnect with that vision. And I'm going to share that with you. So you're going to see after this call, not right now, after this call, I will upload into the Difference Maker Movement page a worksheet that I call the Future Forecast Formula. And it's literally forecasting your future. And there's a formula to it. And it's going to help you to tap into that vision and to really reconnect with it and to know what it is you want so that you can build a business that supports that. Because one of the mistakes I see people make is they say, oh yeah, I want to be a successful Beachbody coach, whatever that means. And I want to hit superstar diamond, or I want to be elite, or I want to make a bunch of money, or I want to be a 5-star diamond, or I want to walk across the stage, or whatever the goal is. But that is just a goal. Why do you want that? What does that mean for your life? What is that doing for your family? How is that changing the dynamic of your future? What is this? How is this going to help you tap into the person you're called to become? So I want to make sure that we're aligning our actions with our ambitions, our goals with our vision, because the goals are just the stepping stones. They're the milestones that lead to something bigger. And when you do it that way, here's the difference. When someone gets super focused on a goal, I want to hit diamond. I want to hit emerald. I'm going to hit Success Club every single month. Okay, that's a goal. That's great. And it is a stepping stone maybe to something bigger. If your vision includes finding ways to make more income, those things will help you grow an income. However, if you only focus on the goal and you don't focus on why you're pushing for that goal, when you achieve it, you hit the goal, but because it was all about the goal and only about the goal, you end up falling off afterwards because you don't know what to do next. How many people have ever gotten stuck at a rank or stuck in one of those milestones or stuck at a weight, right? Like it happens in our fitness journeys too. It's happened to me. I just spent like 6 months stuck at the same weight on the scale until I finally said, oh my God, it's time to level up. And then I did, and I finally dropped the 10 pounds. So that's the first thing. The other thing that happens, and maybe you can relate to this, is when you set a goal and you set a date that you're going to hit that goal and you push so hard for it and you fall short, and then you get discouraged because it was all about the goal and you lost sight of the vision beyond the goal. And because it was all about the goal and you didn't hit it, well, there you're a failure. You proved it. You started that fitness program and then you quit on day 60 out of 100, and look at you showing up again as a failure. May as well just chalk it up as a loss, right? Or in your business, like you said you were going to hit diamond by this date, and then that day comes and that day goes. And because you didn't set your sights beyond that goal and you failed at that goal, and that's all it was about, you're so emotionally rooted in that goal and you're not emotionally rooted in that vision that you failed, and that's it. And you just traipse along, or you fall off, or you quit, or whatever it is. So today we are rooting in vision. And then you set the goals that align with the vision that get you there. Does that make sense? And if you guys can do me a favor tonight as we go through this, use the chat. I'll keep it open so that I don't lose anybody. And if you have questions about it and you're struggling with it, we can address it, okay? So before I take you through this worksheet, and I'll do a screen share, and like I said, I will put it in the team page. The reason I didn't put it in, I debated putting it in beforehand or after, and I didn't want to put it beforehand because I didn't want to get on this call and say, hey guys, I put something in the team page and then have everybody go to Facebook and I'll lose you here. I want you here with me for the length of this call, and then you can go print that sheet out. This team is making some massive changes, massive changes. Some of you are going to love them. Some of you won't. And I am okay with both. But one of the major changes we're making is we are reconnecting to where we're going as a team. And we are staying fiercely committed to that. And if that means losing some of you along the way because you're unwilling to look in the mirror and make those visionary goals for yourself and to fight for them, I'm okay with that too. Not that I want that, because I do genuinely believe in every single person here. But I know I can't control every person here. The only one I can control in some capacity is myself. And this is where we take ownership of what it is each of us want individually for our health, for our families, for our future, for this business. So as a team, we are pushing, and we're not waiting for 2020 to do it. We're starting now, right now. We have 6 weeks of the work. And as a community, we're doing that. I'm pulling up my calendar because I can never remember dates. But we are doing, and I'm going to post all these dates, but we are doing team-wide groups again. We are in the process of creating some new resources for this team. And another thing I'm doing, I'm going old school. Like when I say I'm getting back to my roots, I'm getting back to my roots. One of the ways I built this business back in the day was with live business opportunity presentations, both in person and virtually, because obviously you can't always have something in person. And I'm doing that again. So I'm going to be sharing dates where myself and some of the other leaders on the team are going to be coming together and sharing our story and our journey. And the goal is to invite people to these opportunity presentations to help them understand the value of this business, help them understand that their goals and their visions for their life matter and they need a way to get there. And this is it. So you can expect those to be available to you. We're going to be combining forces on things like pop-up shops and flash sales to help you guys sell more product and share this with more people, because we know that's the gateway drug. Like, get your hands on these products, experience the power of how they change your body physically, and you'll want more of coaching. You'll want more of these products. You'll want more of these world-class trainers that are helping you step into a whole new body and a whole new life. We're going to have a what is coaching page. Now, a lot of this stuff is in the works, and I'm happy to invest the time and the money to bring them to life, but you got to be patient with me because I'm a one-man show. So and some of the girls at the retreat don't even know this yet. So the leaders that came out to Wisconsin for our team retreat, a little over a month ago, we had a videographer there, and he was taking video of different girls at different times and asking them questions and interviewing them a little bit. Well, we are taking that video and we are piecing it together, and we are creating our own difference maker movement what is coaching video that you guys can use as a third-party tool to speak to coaching, to share what this opportunity actually is, the benefits of this opportunity from our perspective, not from Beachbody Corporate's little corporate perspective, not from another coach's team's perspective, from our perspective as the leaders and coaches within this organization. Why are we different? What do we do? How do we do it? Why do they need to do it with us? And we are going to have that video available for you guys in the near future. And I will be sharing that with all of you so that you can use it for yourselves and your teams. The goal is to make it easier for you guys to duplicate and to have your new people duplicate and simplify that process. So when a coach comes in and you're like, I don't know how to train them, I don't know what to do with them, how do I guide them through this process? It's help them get started on their fitness journey, have an amazing experience, teach them how to share it, and then go to the people that they have and say, you've got to see this. Like, you got to humor me and you got to watch this video because I know it's going to touch your life. I know you'd be amazing at this. Will you watch it? That is the business that we're in. We cannot expect our posts on social media to do this business for us. We cannot expect to push play on our workouts and do the bare minimum of a business activity tracker and grow a business that actually brings our vision to life. We have to stop playing small. We have to stop pretending like the bare minimum is going to get us anywhere in life, in anything. If you give the bare minimum to your marriage, will that be a thriving marriage? If your standard is keeping your children alive, how will those kids turn out? And how will your relationship be with them over time? The bare minimum is for people who choose average. Use the chat. Do you guys choose average? Are you okay with mediocrity? Are you good with being complacent and getting the end result of what complacent gets you? Are you all right with being at the end of your life and looking back and saying, I chose average, I'm good with what I got? If you're a part of this movement, the answer is hell no, which keeps popping up over and over and over in the chat. That's why you're here. We are different and we are a movement. So tonight, I'm going to ask you to take out a piece of paper if you have one available. I'd prefer paper over using your computer. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I want you to take a few minutes. I'll put some music on and I'll tell you when time's up. And if you want to elaborate on the questions later, you can, because I'm not going to give you a ton of time because we're on a call. And in these questions, this is going to tee up walking you through this visionary exercise that I have printed for you guys, or that you guys can print, that I'll be sharing on the page, the future forecast formula. Okay. But these 4 questions are foundational and they're going to help you tap into your true vision, where you really want to go with this thing and what you're willing to do to get there. That's the second piece, because everyone on this call is fully capable of dreaming big. Everyone on this call is fully capable of having an amazing vision and getting so excited about that vision and putting it on a vision board and putting it on the backdrop of their computer and writing it out and even telling people about it. But how many on this call are willing to do what it takes to bring that vision to life? Despite the fear, despite what you might perceive that other people might think about you, despite your crazy schedule, despite your physical, emotional, or mental limitations, despite what history has told you, despite all of it. How many of you are willing to show up and do it anyway? Show up and do it scared. Show up and do it tired. That's how I do most things. Tired. Literally tired. Okay? All right, so first question. Does everyone have some paper ready? Okay. First question is, why are you here? Like right now, why are you still here? Why are you still showing up? Why are you on this call right now? Or watching this recording once it comes out? Okay, I'm gonna put some music on, take like 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes or so, and think of your answer. And I don't want you to overthink your answer. You're not being quizzed. No one's going to read it. Let it flow from your brain to the paper and take out the middleman. Okay? Okay, guys. I know a lot of you probably could just keep writing forever. And like I said, take some time tonight after this call, while there's still emotion behind it for you, when you can find some quiet time, even if it means staying up past your bedtime, and elaborate on these questions. All right, the next question I'm going to ask you is, what negative, oh, you can't hear my music, huh, when I play it? Can you? Yes, no? Music or no music? Sounded good to me. Okay, cool. Good to know. How about when I do, let's do a quick test here. How about when I do this? Cool. Just switched it up. Sorry about that. Okay, thanks, Annalisa. I mean, Colleen, whoever said it. Okay, so the next question is, what negative messages run through your head that hold you back? What are the narratives you've written on your life that are stopping you from getting to where you want to go? What is limiting you in your brain from going to your vision? Okay, now I really will play music for you. Okay, take another minute to tie up your last few thoughts. Okay, all right. So that's always a tough one, one that I have to revisit every so often because sometimes I forget what those narratives are. The next question, we're shifting from the negative to the positive. What are you fighting for in your life, in your business, in your health, in the legacy you are creating, in the financial freedom you're pushing for, in your purpose, in your potential? What are you fighting for?
Baby, let's stay home tonight. We can put a couple records on. We can build a fire, alright. Maybe we can dance till dawn. Everything will be just fine. Don't even have to put clothes on. I can keep you warm inside. Baby, let's stay home tonight. Lately, we've been walking in a straight line, doing our own thing, never seem to find time. We've been going down, making reservations, but maybe we just slow down, see where it can take us. Baby, let's stay on tonight. We can put a couple records on. We can build a fire, alright. Maybe we can dance till dawn. Everything will be just fine. Don't even have to put clothes on. I can keep you warm inside. Baby, let's stay home tonight. You wanna get dressed up, but I know who you are, girl. Ain't no need for makeup, 'cause you're my angel. I don't wanna share.
Okay, guys, last question of these 4. What sacrifices will it take for you to get there? For what you're fighting for? What sacrifices will it take for you to get there in this business, to use this as the vehicle to get there? What do you have to give up? What do you have to do more of? What are the sacrifices? And is it worth it to you? Because now is the moment where you have an out. Because right now, when you answer this question, if the answer is yes, it's worth it to you, then you have no choice but to fight for this thing. But if you answer no, then you can walk away. And you can be okay with that. All right. Take a few minutes for this one.
Stand tall, we're running thin. I'm wearing thin. Oh, wow, deep in score. 'Cause if you're not laughing, who is laughing now? I've been wondering if we start singing, could we stand our ground? And through everything we've learned, we've got it cold to turn. We are the outsiders. Oh, we are the outsiders. I'm not leaving without a fight. I got my holster around my side. 'Cause I'm wrong, it don't make you right. No, you ain't right. Oh, wow, we keep in score. 'Cause if you're not laughing, who is laughing now? I've been wondering if we start singing.
Okay, guys. How did that exercise feel? Powerful? Kicking the ass? Yeah, a lot of layers. Awesome. Okay, so that was to tee you up. To tee you up for what we're going to go through now. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen and walk you guys through this worksheet that you're going to do on your own time when you download it from the Difference Maker page. So let me share it. Can you guys see this PDF? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I did on my Scaling Up podcast, episode number 2, so way back in the beginning, goes with this page. So I recommend going and listening to that episode because it will walk you through it in more detail than we have time for today. But it's all about casting the vision. And that's what we're doing tonight. And that's what we're doing over and over and over again. And this was a big wake up call for me because I used to do this all the time. And then I kind of just stopped. Like I stopped casting the vision for myself and for this team. And I think I thought I thought I had said it so many times that it was like people didn't want to hear it anymore. But this is something that we need to do over and over. So I've gone back and I've done this exercise multiple times over the last handful of months, and I'm passing along to you. So episode number 2 of Scaling Up is going to walk you through it. Feel free to go through that. So I'm ultimately going to switch this up. The first question is, what's your vision? And this is where we set the expectations for our lives and our brands. I'm going to tell you guys to hold off on doing question number 1. Okay. When you go through this, save this for last. And ultimately I'm going to switch this because I think it's more helpful to do this other stuff first. So first you're going to go into the future forecasting. So before we get into branding or rebranding, this is kind of a generic worksheet. It's not specific to Beachbody. So that's why you're going to see these more generic terms like that. But it 100% applies to what we do. You have to get real about what you want. So this is where you walk through an ideal day exercise. And I love this because not enough people do this. They think, oh, if I just work really hard, like if I just make those sacrifices that I wrote on the piece of paper, then I'll get to where I want to go. But that's not necessarily true. You have to be strategic. You have to, like, for example, I made this mistake years ago. And I remember putting on my vision board, top 10. I want to be in the top 10. And I had a call with Kim Carver. And he's like, okay, top 10, you're going for top 10 this year. That's awesome. Why? And I said, well, I want to earn more money and I want more freedom of time for my family. And I started listing all these things. And he's like, okay, great. Liz, top 10 is not going to get you any of those things. Top 10 is not going to get you more freedom of time. Do you have any idea how much work goes into producing for top 10? And more money, top 10 doesn't necessarily mean more income for you. Like a lot of those coaches that walk across the stage as the top 10 coaches aren't even making as much as you are. So I had this vision and this goal that I was setting because I thought it was going to get me to the ways I wanted to live my life. But when in reality, they did not align at all. So that's why I want you to walk through this ideal day. Like picture in a vacuum, allow yourself to dream really big. And you're picturing that perfect day. What do you do? Like, what are you sitting and doing in that ideal day? How do you feel as you're doing whatever those things are doing? Like, are you working? Are you feeling like peaceful and stress-free? Are you feeling empowered? Are you feeling energetic? What are those things you're feeling? What do you see? I remember filling this out a couple of years ago, and I remember putting that I see a beautiful view. So that kind of helps me picture like where I want to be working from and what I want that to look like. What do I hear? I wrote that I want to hear my kids playing in the background, which, as you heard at the beginning of this call, is my current reality. Sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. Who do you serve? Like, who are your ideal clients? Are you sick of recruiting coaches to your team that don't do crap? Are you sick of bringing people into your challenge groups that end up just returning the product because they don't have the balls to actually show up and do it? Like, who is your ideal person? Who's the person that you know you want to serve in this thing? How do you spend your free time? Like, have you built a life that actually allows for free time? Is this the only thing you're doing so you have free time? How much time do you take off? I put on here once that I take 10 weeks of vacation, like true vacation a year. We take 12. I knew that was something I wanted to build into my life. And I knew the only way I was going to be able to get it was based on how much income I was building and how strong and steady the business I was building. If I were going for top 10, there's no way in hell I'd be able to take any weeks off because it's all retail, sign up new people, challenge group, success club. So I had to build a business that was rock steady in leadership because that allowed me more freedom of time and residual income. How much do I earn? Like, this is where you get to dream big and think about how much you want to earn, because ultimately you're going to reverse engineer all this stuff. So if you're saying 6 figures or, 500,000 a year or a 7-figure business, you need to figure out what it's going to take to actually build that thing and what you're willing to sacrifice to get to that. How many hours a day do I work? I knew I wanted a business where I had help with the kids, but once that help was leaving, I was checked out of work, minus things like team calls on Monday nights, because I wanted to be able to be present. So this is an exercise where you're going to do your ideal day. We're not doing it right now. You'll print it out after I share it with you guys. Then picture your ideal day and then ask yourself these questions. We're getting a little bit more granular. What are my hobbies? I didn't even know what a freaking hobby was, like when I was in the hustle mode of this business. Now, this is also a reminder that you don't get to live your ideal day just because you decided what your ideal is going to look like. You have to work your butt off to build the ideal day. Okay, so there might be years of grit and grind, but hell, it's worth it. If you're going to be living your ideal day every day, you should fight to the death for that thing. What's my health routine? Our body is our business. We say this all the time. Don't show up sometimes, like around a product launch, for your health. This is every day. You're drinking your shake every day. You're using the performance line every day that you're working out. You're working out every day that it's on your calendar for a program. Like, that's your process. What's my morning routine? Know and master this morning routine and think in your head, what do you want it to look like? Do you want to be able to get up a couple hours before the kids so that you have quiet time and you can have coffee with your husband and you can go through your planner for the day and read and stretch and whatever it is you want to do? Where do you work? Are you working from home? Are you working from a cafe? Are you working from the stall in your bathroom in your corporate office? Because that's what I was doing back in the day. It certainly wasn't a part of my ideal day though. How do you spend your weekends? Like, I like to take my weekends off. I have little blocks of time that sometimes I'll work, but for the most part, that time's with family. And how much you spend on work activities that are actually bringing you pleasure. Because here's truth bomb. Everything we do, even though we love what we do, isn't exactly pleasurable. Like, there are plenty of things that I do that I don't like. But when I'm so tapped into the vision, it's okay. I'm going to do it anyway because I know it's worth it. This next section, values. This is what's important to you, because you have to reconnect with what your values are. Because when you don't keep in alignment with your value system, something ends up off. Because if for example, someone that really wants more income and they're desperate for that income and they make that the focal point, but they do it at the cost of their integrity, it's not going to feel good. You could have all the money in the world and it's not going to feel right to you if you're a person of integrity. And if you're on this team, I'm guessing you are. So list out your values, the things that, mean that are non-negotiables for you, like your standards in life, your morals, what you believe in, what you stand for. That goes in this section. And then what do you want? This is like, again, this was a little generic. What do I want to create, monetize, and sell? But this is where you're talking about, like, I want to be running amazing challenge groups where I can bring people in and show them the value of Shakeology and keep them retained on Shakeology. I want to run incredible free groups on, getting kids to eat healthy and funneling that into challenge groups. I want to run amazing sneak peeks that bring in the right people. Just think about Beachbody wise. What are the things that you want to be creating and funneling people in through that are going to help you build your business? And then what's my level of necessity? If you don't have necessity, you're not going to do this. Where do you stand on making this dream or this vision come to life? You can't wing it anymore. You can't hope for it anymore. You have to have this necessity, this grit. I remember when I started my business, I said, Keith, how am I going to build, how am I going to do this? How do I become truly successful in this? He said, oh, you're going to act and tell yourself like you just took out a $500,000 loan to start this business. Okay, I get it. I am going to give this all I've got because I don't have any other choice. I have that necessity. And you can ask yourself, scale of 1 to 10, how badly do I want this? How badly do I want to bring this mission to life, get paid for it, escape my day job, live with more purpose, make your impact, create the dream. So then you come back to that first section of vision. Okay. Because I feel like it helps. Those other things are going to be prompts for you to build up the vision stuff. Okay. I'm just looking real quick in the chat. Yeah, you guys are talking about how hard you have to work to actually get to this thing. That's so true. And I think this is kind of like that groundwork. But the reality is you have to be coming back to that place of necessity so that you're willing to do the hard work and put the effort in, even when you don't want to, even when you're exhausted, even when your kids aren't seemingly allowing for it and all that stuff. So that's a good point, guys. So when you come back, do this vision exercise. And then here's something interesting. So I started using this with people. And I noticed the first time through, when they did this future forecasting exercise, I did it with Michael the other day and I had him do it. And we got to, how do I spend my weekends? This was the first time him going through it. And one of the things he put in there, and I think this is so important to note, he put catching up on house stuff was one of the things he put in there. I was like, Michael, in your ideal day, you would want to spend a Saturday catching up on house stuff. He's like, well, you like the house stuff always builds up and it would be nice to have some time to catch up on it. Like, no. This is your ideal day. Do you want to spend it catching up on house stuff? He's like, no. Like, okay, I want you to go through this exercise a second time where you actually allow yourself to dream beyond your limitations. He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, here's an example. In your ideal world, does someone else do your house stuff maybe? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, dream in the ideal. That's what I want you guys to do. So if you go through it once and read through it and feel like, is that really my ideal? Like, is that as big as I can dream? Go back day, 2 days, 3 days later and do it again. And allow yourself to have no limitations on this thing. Okay. Does that make sense? Are there any questions on that? I'm just opening the chat again. It keeps closing on me. Okay. So do you guys have any specific questions about that future forecast formula? Oh, wait, did I miss a question? Is it what Candace wrote, Colleen?
Candace and Haley and I have been talking about this, where more so for the coaches that are like 3, 4, 5 years in, kind of helping them find that necessity. It's personally a strength of mine. So maybe you could answer how you, 1 second, buddy. Okay. How you help someone at their level find their necessity, like what kind of questions to ask.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So I think this is going to be different for everybody. And I am kind of experiencing that myself, where I got to a place where I didn't have the financial necessity, like, so there wasn't that back against the wall that's like a natural necessity. So I had to tap into what, it was almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Foundational, like legacy necessity. Like, I had to reconnect with what I felt I was being called to. And then I had to think about my life if I didn't step into that. And I did this exercise that I'm happy to share with you guys on another call, because it's one I'd have to walk you through. It's the 7 layers of why. We actually did it at our team retreat. And here's the concept. And Candace did this too. So I know she was struggling with some of those things. A lot of people were, because it is kind of hard to think in these like big picture theory kind of ways. But basically it was like, okay, why are you doing this? Why do you want to be successful? But then you ask yourself why 7 times. So if the answer is because I want to support my family and I want freedom of time, well, why do you want those things? And you kind of keep peeling back the layers on each one until you get to that last one. And when I did it, I was so shocked by my last answer. My last answer was because I don't want to be forgotten. It literally blew me away. I couldn't believe, like, that's why I'm showing up for this thing. Like, I don't want to be forgotten. And it was this reality of like, oh my God, this is my legacy. And the alternative to me not doing this, to me not like making my necessity a level 10 in all these categories, means that I don't actually step into that true purpose. Like, I don't actually build this dream. And with newer coaches, I think it's going to be different depending on what their life stages are, but it doesn't have to be this like esoteric big thing. Like, I don't want to be forgotten. It could just be like what I was like, I got to get the F out of this job. Like, I can't live like this anymore. I have to have this freedom. I have to be able to go outside and sit in the sun on a beautiful day. Like, I can't be in this cubicle in this horrible lighting all day. Like, it'll kill me. And you just have to find that necessity. It's like a hunger. Like, what makes you hungry for more? What makes you so pissed off that you're not living a certain way? Like, what makes you light a fire in your belly that you can't say no to the work that is required of you to get there? And that's going to be your necessity. So it might be a need for this legacy you're building. It might be a financial need. It might be a vision for something that you want to do for other people, but you have to figure out and kind of sit in the stillness for a little bit and say, what makes me hungry again? What makes me feel that like ferocity that I have to put this out into the world? So I know that's not like such a super direct answer, but that's how I was able to do it. And hold on, I just saw a few more questions. Yeah, that is exactly right, Colleen. So the short-term goal, she said, what helped me as a new coach was the short-term goals will light me on fire right now. Like, what are those short-term goals, and what long-term goals will drive me to show up? So what she's saying about those short-term goals that are so important, you need those wins. Like, what are the things in the beginning that would be like, F yeah, that's amazing. Like, I want to walk across the stage as a 1-star diamond. I want to pay my mortgage in Beachbody income this month. Like, I want to prove to my spouse that I'm a contributor. I want to show like myself what I'm actually capable of. So it can be these short-term wins, like making your first $100 or hitting your first rank advancement, or bringing your first working coach into the business and mentoring them to their first wins. Or it can be the longer term goals. Like, I want to speak on stage at Summit, and I want to retire my spouse, and I want to be able to leave my job or pay for my kids' education or whatever it is. So I think that's so important too, because yes, this big vision is so important, but these small milestones and goals to get you there are so important too, because you can't just be so caught up in the vision that you don't live in a reality world, that it takes work to get to the vision, that it takes these mile markers along the way to say, yes, you can't get to 15-star if you never hit Emerald. Okay. You can never walk across the stage as an elite coach if you're not bringing coaches into your organization and teaching them how to work this business. So you can have vision all day long, but if you're not having goals that align with the vision and actually get you there, you're just a dreamer. And you don't want to just be a dreamer. Like, you have necessity. Necessity means you have to do the work and show up for this thing so it actually drives you forward. Okay, I hope that helps. And Colleen, those were good points. Thank you. Okay, so any other questions about this, this exercise? Okay, so the last thing I'm going to ask you, and this is kind of based on those 4 questions, and something that you have to commit to if you want this thing to happen for you, is the version of you with the negative messages, the negative narratives, the negative attitude, the focus on the negative that's playing in your mind and telling you, you can't do this. Are you really made for this? You've tried and you've failed, whatever it is. Is that person going to win this fight for you? Is that the person that's going to cross the finish line? Spoiler alert, no. So, with that being known, what needs to change right now? What needs to change right now to shift that narrative and step into a different set of shoes that crosses that finish line? Those are the tough choices you have to make today. Those are the tough choices I have to make today. I still face so many of those negative narratives, those lies I've told myself my whole life, the narratives other people have written for me since I was a little kid that as a 32-year-old adult have to try and rewrite. So tonight after this call, that's what I'm going to do. Because I still hit roadblocks. I still have my limiting self-beliefs. I still have visions and goals that I want so badly, but not badly enough that I'm willing to let go of the narratives that I've told myself for so long. Not willing to let go of the negative attitude when life gets really hard. Not willing to spiral out of control when one thing goes bad and then I tell myself the world's out to get to me. So what is the thing that needs to change right now? What's the attitude you have to have? And what do you have to let go of? It's a conscious choice. It is not just going to happen. It's not going to happen with time. It's not going to happen with stacks of personal development books and podcasts playing in your ear. It's not going to happen with a life coach and a therapist. It's your conscious decision in conjunction with all of those things to activate this new narrative, to make the choice to live differently, to take the action steps that are uncomfortable and outside of your realm of understanding today, and to do it anyway, and to seek to become the person you need to be before you can hit those goals. Because this is the thing, those goals and that vision, you are not going to hit them. The person you need to become, she or he is going to hit them. So you have to become that person before you can ever consider the fact that you're going to hit them. And if you happen to hit them before becoming the person, they will be fleeting. You will lose them. They will not be forever. Trust me, I've done it. So seek to become that person, seek to have those breakthroughs, decide what it is you have to let go of, who you have to be, what narratives you have to break, and what new narratives you have to write starting tonight. Okay, guys. I love our team. I adore every one of you. I am so pumped. Like, who the hell is pumped for November? Like, ugh, worst month of the year? Not anymore. I'm so excited for November. This is going to be the best month we've ever had. Every single one of us. There are no limitations on us. We are absolutely unstoppable. We're going to hit our highest goals, but we're going to have our biggest vision when the rest of the world is complaining and saying, oh, this is when we all get fat and tired and lazy and our businesses suffer. We are going to be thriving because we've rewritten the narrative and we've stepped into who we have to become, and the freight train's leaving the station and we're on it and we're going, or at least I am. So hopefully I'm not alone. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to do it with you guys. So thank you so much for your time tonight and coming on. I'm pumped to bring you guys those resources. And the big announcement was that video that you guys are going to be getting in your hand as a third-party tool, the pages that you're going to be getting. So be patient with me. They're coming. They're coming soon. We're going to have pop-up shop dates. We're going to have challenge group dates. This team is going and growing, and we are doing big, amazing things. So let's keep this energy up, bring it into the Difference Maker movement page. If you have something that's working for you, like go live in there and share it. Grow a pair of balls, like share what you got going on. We want to hear it. I don't want to be the only one preaching around here. I want to learn from you guys, new coaches that are getting those early wins. Like tell us how you're doing it. Veteran coaches who are rebuilding steam in your organizations, show us how it's happening. This is how we build this community and how we leverage it and how we really become a movement that is going to change lives, including our own. So thank you for your time tonight. Keep an eye on that page. There's going to be a lot going on in there. And don't give up. Like this is just the beginning. We're just getting started. All right, guys, have an awesome night and take care.